Since Repair Clinic encourages you to perform this repair safely, a warning icon will appear when you should use caution. To replace the condenser fan shroud in this Frigidaire air conditioner, you will need a number 2 Phillips head screwdriver, a 10mm socket, a putty knife, needle nose pliers, wire cutters, zip ties, a thread locking solution, and foam strip insulation. Before you begin, unplug the unit's power cord. To perform this procedure, you will need to fully uninstall the unit from the wall sleeve or window and set it on a sturdy surface. Now pull out the air filter. Use the number 2 Phillips head screwdriver to unthread the 2 screws, securing the grill assembly. With the screws unthreaded, use the putty knife to help pry the grill assembly off. Release the control panel wiring from the retainers to provide enough slack to set the grill aside. Next, unthread the 6 screws to release the rear grill if attached. Unthread the lower screws, securing the left and right side air intake screens. Detach the screens from the top to remove. Now unthread the 8 screws, securing the unit's cabinet. With the screws unthreaded, lift the cabinet off. Now cut the foam strip insulation covering the control box cover. Unthread the 3 screws securing the cover. Set the cover aside. Now unthread the upper and lower screws, securing the control box to the frame and base. With the screws unthreaded, shift the box out of the way. Cut the foam strip insulation on the right side of the air duct and peel back the tape at the top. Pull the frame back so you can fully remove the top and middle air duct sections. Use the 10mm socket to unthread the blower wheel mounting nut. Slide off the lock washer and the flat washer. Next, unthread the 2 screws securing the fan motor shroud to the base. You can now tip the fan shroud and condenser back so you can fully remove the blower wheel. Next, unthread the 6 remaining screws, securing the fan shroud. Use the putty knife to help detach the foam strip insulation from the top of the condenser coils. Separate the shroud from the coils and move the coils out of the way. Using the 10mm socket, rotate the condenser fan blade mounting nut clockwise to unthread. Slide off the lock washer and flat washer, and you can remove the fan blade. Now unthread the screw to release the yellow motor grounding wire from the control box. Use the wire cutters to cut the 2 zip ties, bundling the wires together. Slide out the fan motor wire connector lock so you can disconnect the wire connector from the control board. You should release the potentially stored electrical charge in the capacitor to avoid injury by placing the needle nose pliers across each set of terminals. Avoid touching the metal portion of the tool when doing this. Pull back the insulators, then use the needle nose pliers to depress the locking tabs to disconnect the red and brown wires from the capacitor. Remove the sealing gum holding the wires in place. Cut the 2 rear zip ties securing the wires. Release the wires from the retainer, and you can remove the shroud and motor assembly. Next, unthread the 3 mounting screws, securing the motor to the shroud. Once the screws are unthreaded, you can pull the motor free and set the old fan shroud aside. To prepare the new condenser fan shroud for installation, apply a new strip of foam insulation to the top edge. Now position the motor in the new shroud and thread the 3 mounting screws. Secure the wiring in the retainer on the shroud. Seat the shroud and motor assembly in the base, and secure the motor wiring in the retainer. Attach the red and brown wires to the appropriate capacitor terminals, and slide the insulators over the terminals. Connect the motor wire connector to the control board, and slide the lock in to secure. Secure the motor grounding wire to the control box with the screw. Use new zip ties to bundle the wires together in the control box and behind the frame. Repack the sealing gum to help hold the wiring in place and secure with the wire retainer. Align the condenser fan blade on the motor shaft. Then slide on the flat washer and the lock washer. Apply the thread locking solution to the threads of the motor shaft. Then thread the mounting nut on counterclockwise and tighten. Reposition the condenser coils with the shroud. Thread the 6 screws to secure the coils to the shroud. Repack the sealing gum as necessary. Slide the rear washer on the front portion of the motor shaft. Then realign the blower wheel on the shaft and slide on the flat washer and the lock washer. Apply the thread locking solution to the threads of the motor shaft, then thread and tighten the nut. Replace the screws to secure the fan shroud to the base. Reposition the top and middle air duct sections. Fully position the control box. Then rethread the upper and lower screws to secure. Reposition the control box cover and rethread the screws to secure. Realign the cabinet and rethread the 8 screws. Replace the left and right side air intake screens and rethread the lower screws. If applicable, reinstall the rear grille. Secure the control panel wiring in the retainers. Align the top tabs of the grille assembly with the slots in the top edge of the unit and snap the assembly into position. Thread the two mounting screws. Keeping the upper lip facing outward, insert the air filter into the front grille slot. Reinstall the unit in the wall sleeve or window as necessary. Plug the power cord back in, and the air conditioner should be ready for use.